Chapter 11 Fight Again After Becoming Hokage. You are listening at novelfull.audio. No, compared with Kurabi, this mere secret technique is not worth mentioning at all. AI took out a scroll with his backhand and threw it directly. Moreover, not everyone can learn this secret technique. If you are not careful, you will lose control of chakra and explode to death. Having said this, AI looked at Chinyu and said, "You don't mind me saying this." Chinyu didn't expect that AI would carry the scroll with him. He didn't take a second look after taking it, and said with a warm smile, "Thank you for the reminder. I hope you won't be surprised next time we meet. Let me remove the illusion first." As soon as he finished speaking, Chinyu's 9 Magatama Sharingan suddenly stopped. The 8 tails, who had been trapped in an illusion, let out a roar. "I broke through, damn boy, I'm going to kill you. Kurabi, why are you unconscious? I still want to fight." The moment the illusion was released, Kurabi just had time to open his eyes slightly before he passed out. Chinyu was not surprised by this scene. In fact, as long as it is delayed a little longer, the 8-tailed Gyuki will break through Tsukuyomi, and Kurabi will be out of trouble. After all, Chinyu instantly opened Susanoo, Amaterasu, and Tsukuyomi. He also had to maintain Susanoo at all times, which consumed a lot of his eye power. Moreover, Tsukuyomi still mainly affects Kurabi. Boy, will Kurabi be okay? AI tried several methods, but failed to wake up Kurabi. This is severe loss of consciousness. If Kurabi hadn't completely integrated with the 8 tails, the tailed beasts would have rioted the moment Kurabi lost consciousness. It's just mental exhaustion. You can recover after a period of rest. Chinyu raised the scroll in his hand and said, "Thank you, you can go." Chinyu, this is a good opportunity. Quan Fong was anxious, but was interrupted by Mauyue Kangwa's eyes. AI sneered disdainfully and said, "A bunch of cowards. If it weren't for another genius from the Uchiha clan, you would have been killed by me long ago. Damn Anbu, they didn't even collect such important information." In AI's eyes, if they had known about Uchiha Chinyu, they would never have suffered such serious losses. "However, you kid, if you can't stay in Konoha, you can come to Yun Ninja Village to find me. I welcome you at any time." AI took out a scroll and threw it out again, saying, "This is an intelligence scroll that betrays you. I hope you can return to Konoha safely. By the way, they all say that the person in Konoha who has the best chance of becoming the 4th Hokage is Minato Namikaze, but I think you are equally qualified, Bloody Azura." After leaving these words, AI supported Kurabi and turned around and left. "Next time we meet, I hope we will duel as Shadow, and I will punch through your turtle shell." As AI left, the remaining 5 Kumo ninjas felt unwilling to do so, still kept up quickly. For a time, the huge ruins became empty. "We won. We actually blocked the large army of Kumo ninja and the AB combination." "TCH, what are you talking about? It was Chinyu who killed them instantly and defeated the AB combination. It was Chinyu's credit alone. I didn't expect that in the Uchiha clan, in addition to Shunshin Shursui, there would also be a genius like Chinyu. That Kirin move just now made my hair stand on end." The Konoha ninjas in the cave were instantly overjoyed, with smiles on their faces as if they had survived the disaster. Facing the attack of Yun Ninja, they had already despaired, especially after they knew that Shanfeng and Aburame had betrayed each other. In their eyes, this was a fatal situation. However, the results in front of them subverted their cognition. "When I think of that Qilin move that killed hundreds of people instantly. The unbreakable Susanoo, dark as ink, black flames that cannot be extinguished. There are also extremely powerful illusions. All of this is completely beyond the definition of Jounin." Judging from AI's statement, Chinyu has now reached the shadow level candidate, commonly known as the Penumbra. Did you hear just now that AI actually made an agreement with Chinyu to become the best actress before fighting, and even gave him a nickname, Bloody Arrow? "It's Bloody Azura, you idiot." Call. Looking at all the Konoha ninjas talking about it, Chinyu breathed a sigh of relief. The moment the 9 Magatama Sharingan dispersed, the Susanoo on his body also disappeared out of thin air. "Chinyu, are you injured?" I'll treat you right away. Jingyin rushed over quickly, with a hint of anxiety on her pretty face. Silly girl, he can't even break through his defense, how could I get hurt? Qin smiled and scratched Shizen's nose. The lover is eager, Qin you can't blame Jingyin. Yu Kangwu also walked over with a smile, but there was more of a sigh on his face. Good boy, I didn't expect you to hide so deeply. Thanks to you this time, we will be saved. As for other matters, we will definitely support you after returning to Konoha. In Konoha, the status of the Uchiha clan is very embarrassing. He has been trapped in the undercurrent of power between the Anbu, the roots, and the guard. From Kangwu's understanding, Qin, as a genius, had been holding back all this time just to avoid these troublesome whirlpools. Of course, Qin would not point it out to Kangwu, who was always making excuses for himself as soon as he appeared on the stage. After taking a look at Shizen, whose face was blushing, Qin opened another scroll. Their defenses and the specific location of the secret sentry were clearly displayed on it. Damn it, our defenses and secret sentries are changing every day. Only Shanfeng and Aburame Takejen know how to describe it so clearly. Inubang and his group also walked over quickly. Seeing the information on the scroll, their faces turned pale. If Qin hadn't taken action this time, I'm afraid we would have died. When we return to Konoha, we must report this matter to Lord Hokage, otherwise how can we convince the public? Gen's people are really hateful, so what if Danzo is here? Qin, don't worry, we will definitely support you. Looking at the raging crowd of Konoha ninjas, Qin didn't say much. In this world, the strong is king, and the weak are just dolls of the strong. Now in Konoha, Danzo does have a certain status and can make waves. However, Qin has a one-click max level system. As long as he is given time, it will grow quickly. Qin doesn't even take Uchiha Madara, one of the bosses behind the scenes, seriously, and is still afraid of a mere Danzo. Once he gets into trouble, he doesn't mind a few more lives on his hands. Okay, Qin is tired too. Let him rest first. Shizen, you can also go and see if Qin needs help. Kangwu stopped the others. Issues involving the top management of Konoha and the Uchiha clan still cannot be commented casually. At least, they couldn't make a casual conclusion before Qin opened his mouth. Otherwise, making Qin unhappy is not what Kangwu wants to see. Chapter 12 Thunder Chakra Mode. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Watching Qin leave, the scene became heated again. Woyuki, those eyes just now were so hard to look at. Inufeng couldn't help but move closer. The powerful thunder release ninjutsu, the super powerful eye technique and illusion technique are simply unattainable. AI, the next successor to the Raikage in the Cloud Ninja Village, also claimed that Qin has the qualifications to succeed the Hokage. Who do you think is more confident compared to him or Minato Namikaze? As soon as these words came out, everyone was attracted instantly. Kangwu's expression changed slightly. Looking at the curious faces, he sighed helplessly. The current situation is not as simple as you think. Yamaphase and Aburame took their roots and fled back to Konoha. With Danzo's hostility towards the Uchiha clan, he will definitely protect the two of them. If Danzo knew that we were not dead, he would probably kill us. The joy on the faces of Quan Feng and others suddenly stiffened. Maoyue, have you thought the situation too badly? What should we do now? Do we need to remind Qin? Quan Feng said anxiously. Kangwu shook his head and said, Qin Feng, do you think a person who hides it so deeply would not know about such a thing? Based on my inference, Qin probably already has a countermeasure. Everyone present fell silent and couldn't help but look at each other. Thinking back to the battle just now, it is still vivid in my mind. With such great strength, he has been dormant in Konoha for so long. I'm afraid what you are planning is definitely not small. However, if the Kumo ninja can be repelled this time, Qin has the greatest credit. Once the message is sent back, Konoha's top brass will definitely not sit idly by. Then Qin is also amazing. Not only was he able to defeat the AB combination, he was also able to blackmail Yun Ninja Village's ninja taijutsu by plucking his feathers. If this Thunder Escape Chakra model is handed over to Konoha, it will be a big achievement. Everyone in the field was in a hurry again. After all, this battle was too shocking. You said that Chinyu is proficient in the Thunder Release Ninjutsu. Will he try to learn the Thunder Release Chakra mode? Quan Fong said without warning. Everyone's nerves suddenly became tense, and Mao Yukangwu's face froze as he said, maybe it's really possible. However, I still don't believe that he understood the secret of thunder in 3 days and developed a thunder release unicorn that is enough to rank as an S-level ninjutsu. Ryu, are you saying this because you have lost face? Inufeng teased, why don't we take a gamble? Okay, if Chinyu can really do it, I will marry my precious daughter to Chinyu. Maoyue Kangwu said, patting his chest. TSK, Maoyue, does this count as a bet? You are just looking for an excuse to send your daughter to Chinyu's arms. Counting me in, I also want to bet. If Chinyu really learns it, I will let Chinyu choose between the 2 daughters in the family. Old man Mu, you are so big-hearted. How can your 2 daughters, one 30 years old and the other as tall as a giant bear, be put on the table? If Chinyu really takes a fancy to them, he is blind. Bastard, what are you talking about? I'm going to fight you. If you lose, you'll have sex with my daughter. In the cave, Chinyu had no idea that he already had dozens of future father-in-laws. As he walked, he stared at the scroll recording the Thunder Chakra pattern. Chinyu, are you really not injured? Jin said again with a red face. Chinyu rolled his eyes helplessly and said, you have repeated this question 10 times. If you don't believe it, why don't I take off my clothes and show you? As he spoke, Chinyu made a gesture to unbutton his body. Chinyu, you are acting like a hooligan. Jin's cheeks turned even redder. She glared at him, then turned and left. After watching her leave, Chinyu was free. He has now consumed a lot of chakra and eye energy. In other words, his body has been exhausted. I simply don't have the energy or the urge to do anything like that. I found a good corner, sat down cross-legged, and began to try to practice the Thunder Escape Chakra mode. In the previous battle, Chinyu had already used the Manjikyu Sharingan to secretly check the moment AI entered the mode state. Now after comparing the explanations recorded on the scroll one by one, I found that there are no mistakes. It seems that AI never thought that he would have a Waterloo. There was no tampering with the secret scroll. After reading it again and again, Chinyu put away the scroll and entered a state of meditation to slightly restore the chakra in his body. A short while later, Chinyu opened his eyes, and the sky outside began to darken. After a battle during the day, it was obvious that all Konoha ninjas were performing their duties. Some people were even reassigned to station at various hidden outposts. Therefore, Chinyu was still the only one in the huge cave. The chakra in the body has recovered to a certain extent, and I finally understand the pain of Hitachi's 55th opening and lack of blue. Chinyu sighed helplessly. Using 3 ultimate moves will consume 2/3 of the chakra. If there is a protracted battle, he will be disarmed in the middle. That's a nightmare. Forget it, we'll think about increasing chakra later. Now let's learn the Thunder Chakra mode. Chinyu put aside his thoughts. His eyes slowly closed, and all the explanations on the scroll appeared in his mind. After a full 3 or 4 seconds, Chinyu suddenly opened his eyes, quickly flew his hands, and formed a series of magic seals. Under the roar of chakra in the body, wisps of electric arcs emerged on the surface of the body. The next moment, all the information copied from AI's body by the Mangekyo Sharingan flashed in Chinyu's mind, and the magic seal in his hand changed in vain. The properties of chakra, which was originally as steady as a trickle, changed instantly, and like a galloping horse, a low roar came from Chinyu's body. Countless violent blue arcs shot out of Chinyu's body, illuminating half of the cave. However, as soon as the lightning arc emerged, it dissipated across the sky and earth in an instant. The changes in chakra properties in the body dissipated directly and returned to normal. A trace of joy flashed across Chinyu's face, and he said to himself, fortunately, the chakra changes were cut off in time, otherwise the attribute changes that agitated at that moment would have caused me to explode and die in the blink of an eye. No wonder that guy handed this secret scroll to me so easily. Ding dong, I found out that the host has learned the Thunder Escape Chakra mode and can it be fully leveled with one click. Maximum level immediately. After trying it, Chinyu also gave up on self-study. If he didn't use the system, that would be self-abuse. Congratulations to the host, the Thunder Chakra mode has reached the full level. As the system prompts dissipated, Chinyu took a deep breath, thought again, and the properties of chakra in his body changed again. With a crackling sound, blue lightning arcs splashed out on Chinyu's body. In an instant, under the stimulation of this lightning arc, Chinyu felt that his cells and body were quickly activated. Chapter 13 Konoha Reinforcements. You are listening at novelfull.audio. It feels really weird. A hint of joy flashed across Chinyu's face. Originally, even if a person is used to his own weight, sometimes he will feel like he is carrying a heavy weight. However, now that Chinyu is using the Thunder Chakra mode, his entire body is as light as a feather. However, the chakra consumption in the body is also not slow. With Chinyu's current amount of chakra, he can sustain it for at most 20 minutes. If any more ninjutsu is used, the time supported by the Thunder Chakra mode will probably be further shortened. I am afraid that it is for this reason that AI developed nintai techniques to reduce his own chakra loss. Try the speed first. Chinyu took a step forward, there was a pop on the spot, and except for the remaining trace of lightning arc jumping, the whole person shot straight out of the cave like blue lightning. The Konoha ninja station not far outside the cave was startled at first, and then couldn't help but rub his eyes. What's wrong with you? Quan Feng and Awaken walked over slowly. We seem to have seen a flash of blue light just now. But before I could see clearly, it disappeared out of thin air. Blue light. Inu Feng and Yu Kangwu were startled at first, and then asked urgently, does that feel the same as AI's Thunder Escape Chakra mode? Senior Yu, when you say this, I feel a bit similar. Senior Woyuki, are you saying that the Kumo ninja left and came back to take revenge? A trace of nervousness flashed across the faces of the two slightly younger Chunin. Not long after the battle, they had Chinyu as their backbone, but Yun Ninja suffered a big loss last time, and I'm afraid he won't fall for it again this time. No, I would rather Yunren came back to cause trouble than believe the speculation in his heart. Yu Kangwu and Inu Feng couldn't help but look at each other. The two of them obviously wanted to go to the same place. Go and see the cave. Is Chinyu still inside? As soon as these words came out, the two slightly younger Konoha ninjas were completely enlightened. If the lightning just now was exactly the same as the Thunder Chakra mode, the person who used this secret technique was not Raikage AI, but it was probably Uchiha Chinyu. It is only half a day before the battle is over and the scroll recording the Thunder Chakra pattern is obtained. If Chinyu really learned the secret technique, what else can be used to describe it? Genius? Evildoer? Monster? Or the god of ninjutsu? Chinyu, who was thousands of meters away, had no idea that his actions would bring such a big shock to them. In the Thunder Chakra mode, his speed has completely reached the subsonic level, covering hundreds of meters in the blink of an eye. Moreover, under the activation of cells, Chinyu's nerve response, attack power, and 5 senses were greatly improved. Even the chirping of insects hundreds of meters away can be heard clearly. Stop it, we ninjas of Konoha. An urgent cry came. Chinyu instantly locked onto the source of the sound. Although he did not have abnormal perception ninjutsu, Chinyu could still identify the approximate number of people through the sound. 7 people surrounding 2 people is interesting. Chinyu pursed his lips and couldn't help but smile. With a flash of his body, he decided to go see what happened to the Konoha ninja. In the forest, there is a clearing. 2 thin figures stood back to back looking at the surrounding ninjas, who were all looking at each other and wearing various ferocious animal masks. We are Konoha ninjas, this is proof of identity. A pale boy, only 12 or 13 years old, couldn't help but say. Behind him was a girl with purple hair and a delicate and bright face. Judging from the ID cards they wore, these two were newly promoted Chunin. Of course, this Chunin weight was placed in the peaceful era in the original work. Only by passing the Chunin examination and the evaluation of daimyo from various countries could one be able to join this rank. Unfortunately, during the Third Ninja War, most Chunin were promoted by force. First, opening up 3 major battlefields at the same time has already squandered all the backbone of Konoha. Second, a protracted war involves attrition of personnel. With Konoha's limited combat power, it simply cannot last long. Third, the purpose of being forcibly promoted to Chunin is to confuse the enemy. When it comes to real calculations, it is also a case of being strong on the outside but weak on the inside. According to Chinyu's understanding in his memory, this method of endurance assessment is used. You only need to complete a B-level mission in your team and come back alive to apply to become a Chunin. Chinyu clearly remembered that during the Third Ninja War, Obito was defeated by a crane without even opening his Sharingan. You can then be promoted to Chunin, with Kakashi as your captain, to perform special missions. This is enough to prove how what the Chunin is. Shi-yen, you must be careful when you stand behind me. This place is not far from the pass station. These ANBU just misunderstood our identities and are the enemy pretending to be. As long as I explain clearly, it will be fine. Moonlight Hayate Ninja, he kept explaining. A trace of nervousness appeared on Maue Shien's face. This is the first time she has officially set foot on the battlefield after graduating from the Ninja Academy. Until now, she had only taken on some small tasks, such as finding cats and dogs, guarding the Konoha ninja village, and other relatively simple tasks. At the same time, participate in some harmless battles to gain some experience. 3 days ago, she was suddenly promoted to Chunin. Maue Shien knew clearly that this was the reason for the emergency on the front line. This resulted in the urgent deployment of combat forces in the rear of Konoha for support. Originally, Maue Shien was still thinking about how to avoid going to the battlefield. Unfortunately, upon hearing this, Kyumo Ninja launched a sneak attack, and her father Atsuki Kangwoo happened to join the battle, in order to urgently send the Golden Flash. Namikaze Minato's Flying Thunder God Kunai to the battlefield, so he personally requested the battle. As for Moonlight Gale, it was because of the strange feeling in his heart that he couldn't help but accept this task. After 3 days of continuous traveling, we were not far from the pass. I thought I could arrive smoothly, but I didn't expect to be stopped by Konoha's ANBU at such a critical moment. Seniors, I am Konoha's newest Chunin, Moonlight Hayate, and my father is one of Konoha's 8 colors, Moonlight Kuroyoru. This is my family's token. Moonlight Hayate quickly moved out his patron. Unlike Wazuki Sangwoo, Moonlight Hayate's father, Moonlight Kuroyoru, is one of the 8 colors of Konoha. In one hand, Konoha-style 3 sun and moon sword technique, combined with blood succession limit penetrating escape. On the battlefield, he is a feared assassin. Looking at the whole of Konoha, the strength is also outstanding among Jounin. According to Moonlight Hayate's plan, all he needed to do now was to find out his identity and move his father out. These ANBU ninjas were amazed. He will also let them go obediently. If you are not careful, you may escort them to the stronghold. Chapter 14, The Prodigal Son. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Kill them. The leading ANBU ninja suddenly spoke. Moonlight Hayate's smile froze instantly. Even Wazuki Shien, who was standing behind him, was no exception. Whoosh! The sound of breaking through the air suddenly sounded, and the 2 root ninjas moved instantly. With a flash of body, he appeared directly in front of Moonlight Gale. In their eyes, it was just a piece of cake to deal with 2 mere Chunins with huge water content. The violent scene made Moonlight Gale's expression stiffen. Looking at the 2 daggers that were rapidly enlarging in his pupils, he made a fatal mistake on the battlefield. Lost my mind. A smile flashed deep in the eyes of the 2 root ninjas who took action. Half a day ago, they were stationed dozens of miles away in a secret stronghold belonging to the root. After receiving the order from Shanfeng and Aburame to kill all the Konoha ninjas, they rushed over. Before they reached the pass stronghold, they met 2 rookies. They don't let go of the fun when it comes to bullying newbies. Konoha-style swordsmanship. 3 suns, moon shadow dance slash. A crisp scream sounded, and a pretty figure suddenly flashed out and attacked from behind Moonlight Gale. The ninja sword in his hand emitted weak chakra fluctuations. The next moment, he transformed from 1 to 3 and attacked the 2 Umbu head-on. The violent scene made the 2 Umbu obviously feel caught off guard. Of course they have heard about the Konoha-style swordsmanship possessed by Moonlight and Dark Knight in Konoha. Facing an illusory attack with lurking murderous intent, I had no time to think about it, so I quickly retreated and temporarily distanced myself. Seeing this, Atsuki Shien pulled Moonlight Hayate behind her, and at the same time threw out several shurikens with her backhand. Haifeng, if you have the chance, run away first. Only if you rush to the past stronghold to ask for help will we have a chance to be saved. Am I escaping alone? Moonlight Gale couldn't help but be startled and said, how could I leave you alone? If we die, let's die together. Mao Yuxian's expression changed slightly. She looked at Yu Guangfeng, who had a determined look on her face, and couldn't help but feel a little more moved in her heart. It can be said that in such a life and death situation, those who can still say such words can be regarded as sharing the same adversity. However, just as this thought flashed through his mind, a big hand instantly reached out from the ground. Haifeng, be careful where you step. Yu Yuxian exclaimed and jumped up quickly. At this moment, she realized that the attack by the two ANBU ninjas just now was just a feint attack. The leading team leader had already found the opportunity to lurk underground and conduct a sneak attack. However, what made Woyuki Xian feel disappointed was that Yueguang Blast still stood there as if stunned, at a loss. Moonlight Hayate didn't notice the other party's existence originally, but after Woyuki Xian reminded him, he slowed down a beat. Now he is still stunned, obviously unable to escape. Earth Release, the art of beheading in the heart. The ANBU ninja grabbed Moonlight Hayate's ankle. The surrounding ground quickly rolled like running water. Moonlight Gale woke up suddenly, and when he wanted to break away from the attack, he found that he had been dragged into the earth flow. The next moment, the chakra dissipated, leaving only a head protruding. The violent scene made Mao Yuxian's expression change dramatically. She never expected that Moonlight Swift Wind would be captured as soon as they met on the battlefield, right? Now, she was the only one out of 7 people on the other side. The only way to save Moonlight Hayate was to escape to the stronghold and ask for help. Little girl, now is not the time for you to lose your mind. A sneering voice suddenly came. Only 2 ninjas were seen. With a backhand swing, 2 shurikens attacked her in a roundabout way. There is also a special rope on kunai. If you miss it even slightly, you may be tied up directly. However, being in mid-air, Mao Yuxian had no way to dodge. There are also ANBU ninjas who are watching eagerly all around. If there is any flaw, it may directly lead to death. Looking at the rapidly approaching rope, a hint of inexplicable bitterness appeared on Yu Yuxian's face. Looking at the past not far away, and smiling bitterly, a shuriken suddenly shot out from the darkness. Dang! Sparks flew out, and the 2 kunai were instantly knocked away. The sudden scene caused a dramatic change in the expressions of everyone present. What an exquisite shuriken technique! I can actually knock away 2 kunai with just 1 shuriken. The ANBU team leader lurking in the ground exclaimed in surprise. Without any time to think, he quickly glanced around and gave orders at the same time. Immediately explore the surrounding enemies and kill them immediately if found. As the awe-inspiring words came out, the ANBU captain thought that his men would take action instantly. However, when he saw the panic in their pupils, his nerves suddenly became tense. Are you going to kill me? Joking words were heard from behind, and the ANBU captain's expression changed drastically, and he hurriedly used earth stealth in an attempt to escape. However, as soon as he drilled into the soil, an awe-inspiring aura of death instantly spread throughout his body. I found you. As the words fell, the fist wrapped in lightning, like a battle axe, hit the ground directly with the sound of wind and thunder. Boom! It exploded with a roar like dry thunder. The moment his fist hit the ground, the solid earth shattered. Spider web-like cracks quickly spread around. The ANBU squad leader's head exploded like a watermelon as soon as he dived into the soil. The hot blood splashed down, like bright fireworks, but it gave people a shocking feeling. Escape, let's escape quickly. The remaining 6 ANBU ninjas instantly panicked. With a flash of figure, he was about to leave. However, during this process, they always paid attention to Qin Yu's figure, but with a slight movement, the frightening figure disappeared out of thin air. Thunderstorm knife. Qin Yu's right hand turned into a hand sword, bursting out with subsonic speed in the mode of thunder. Escape chakra, and instantly appeared in front of the first escaping ANBU ninja. Without any hint of fancy, he swung his right hand towards his neck, and blood spurted out. Before the look of fear could dissipate, the huge head flew into the air. The violent scene shook everyone's nerves. Unfortunately, facing Qin Yu, who was like the god of death, all defenses seemed feeble. 5 flashes, and they just had time to see the blue lightning. By the time you react, it's already too late. Just in time, a figure wrapped in lightning appeared in his mind. and his huge head flew out with blood. When Qin Yu stopped, the 6 heads fell to the ground, like rain hitting banana trees. Large amounts of hot blood spattered out. Mao Yuexin and Xian had just stood firm. Seeing the person in front of them, Qin Yu, who was bathed in thunder and had a warm smile on his face, just like the boy next door, he couldn't help but take half a step back. "It's your turn now." Qin Yu laughed playfully. "You're a pretty girl, why don't you let me have some fun with you?" That the low voice made Yu Xian and Yueguang Gale's expressions freeze for a moment. They never imagined that the person in front of them was not a savior, but a prodigal son. Chapter 15 Running Faster Than a Rabbit. You are listening at novelfull.audio. What exactly do you want to do? Mao Yuxian subconsciously took half a step back, after witnessing Qin Yu instantly killing 7 ANBU. After hearing this frivolous words, she was willing to face those ANBU. It's better to be treated lightly than to be killed. I won't tell you, but you should know it very well. Qin Yu smiled playfully and looked at Moonlight Gale. I'm giving you a chance to live now. Are you willing to let us go? Yueguang Chifeng looked happy and said hurriedly, My father is Yueguang Heni. As long as you let us go, we will definitely pay you heavily afterwards. As he spoke, Yu Guangfeng thought about taking Woyuki Xian away. You seem to have made a mistake. What I mean is that only one of you can leave alive. Qin Yu suddenly said. Moonlight Hayate and Yu Xian's expressions couldn't help but stagnate. Doesn't this make them fight to the death? Don't worry, you can decide who stays and who leaves. Of course I will do the killing. Qin Yu smiled teasingly. If you think you can be stronger than the 7 Umbu, come and die. The low voice echoed in the forest, adding an inexplicable sense of depression to the atmosphere. Mao Yuexian couldn't help but look at Yueguang blast. The scene that caught her eye made her stunned. Xian, wait for me. This place is only a few thousand meters away from the stronghold. I am faster than you. I will definitely be able to move back to reinforce the troops. Moonlight Gale dropped these words, turned around and fled. The speed was so fast that it took all the energy out of breastfeeding. After a few ups and downs, he plunged into the forest and disappeared. Tell me, the small universe will explode only when people are in trouble. Qin Yu said with a smile. Woyuki Xian's face turned slightly pale. She took out a kunai from the ninja tool with her backhand, and stabbed it directly into her throat. Dang! Qin Yu threw out a shuriken with his backhand, instantly knocking the kunai out of Woyuki Xian's hand. Mao Yuxian's expression changed, and she shouted urgently, Didn't you say that there is only life and death? Can't I do it myself now? Of course. Qin Yu said seriously, but I'm just scaring you. I didn't expect that kid to run faster than a rabbit. Let's go, otherwise Uncle Yuyu will worry about you. After leaving these words, Qin Yu turned around and walked towards the stronghold. Mao Yuexian was stunned. She had already contemplated suicide. Who would have expected the result to be like this? Looking at Qin Yu's retreating figure, and the Moonlight Gale who had just escaped, there was a hint of self-mockery on his face. Help, Uncle Maoyue, hurry up and save Xian. Moonlight Gale was detected by the secret whistle before he even set foot in the stronghold. Qin Yu's battle just now was also detected by the sensing ninja, so Maoyue Kangwu and Quan Feng had already led people out. Haifeng, why are you here? Maoyue Kangwu's expression couldn't help but change. What were you talking about just now? What happened to Xian? Uncle Yuzuki, something bad has happened. Moonlight Hayate explained hurriedly. Xian and I were ordered to bring Senior Minato's Flying Thunder God kunai to accurately position Senior Space Jump. However, Xian and I were ambushed by ANBU roots several thousand meters away. At the critical moment, a young man with lightning arcs wrapped around his body took action and killed the ANBU people. However, he coveted Xian's beauty and asked one of us to leave. I was faster than Xian, so I came to ask for help. Looking at Moonlight Hayate, who looked anxious and panicked, everyone looked at each other. You bastard! Maoyue Kangwu threw out with his backhand, snapped. A crisp slap suddenly sounded. Yueguang Gale couldn't help being startled, covering his cheek and said, Uncle Maoyue, why did you hit me? Go and save Xian quickly. Maybe you still have a chance if you go now. Go to your sister. MaleProtagonist almost kicked her away. 2 will survive, 1 will survive. You who stepped on the horse will escape first. If Xian meets someone other than Chinyu this time and something happens to her, I will definitely destroy you. Even if your father is in a moonlit night, I don't care. In MaleProtagonist's eyes, Yue Guangbafeng and MaleProtagonist can be regarded as childhood sweethearts. Moreover, Moonlight and Dark Knight also taught Wazuki Yugugo the art of Konoha-style swordsmanship, so, I still appreciate Moonlight. Hey 8, if this situation lasts longer, perhaps MaleProtagonist will let them develop. It's great now. When faced with a life or death decision, I can run faster than a rabbit. This made MaleProtagonist feel like he was blind. Uncle Maluwe, what did you say? Xian is still in the hands of that madman. Yue Guanggale's expression stiffened. Hi, are you looking for me? When I was taking a walk, I saw 2 dumbfounded young men, so I rescued them. A familiar voice came floating in the air. Yu Guangfeng couldn't help but be startled, and hurriedly followed the sound. What immediately caught his eye was that murderous face without blinking an eye. What Yue Guanggale didn't expect was that Yu Xian was walking slowly towards him with a frosty look on his face. Why are you okay? Yue Guangqifeng looked at Yu Xian and couldn't help but said. You're such a funny kid. You ran faster than a rabbit just now. Now you're asking me if I did anything to Xian. Yu said with a smile. I'm still young and don't understand that stuff. Yu Guangfeng was angry, and he could still remember the wretched look on Yu's face just now. Xian, please listen to my explanation. Yue Guanggale hurriedly stepped forward. Snapped. A crisp slap sounded suddenly. There seems to be nothing to explain between us, Hayate-san. Yuzuki Xian said coldly and quietly. Dad, I'll take over the task. Well, let's talk after we go in. MaleProtagonist looked at Yue Guanggale with a cold look and said, Girl, from now on, you have to use your eyes to recognize people. Some people will not show off their legs until the critical moment. Once they make the wrong choice, there is no turning back. Looking at Yu Xian who walked away without any nostalgia, Yu Guangfeng's expression turned livid. Your name is Chinyu, I want to be with you. Yu Guangfeng covered her still stinging cheek and shouted urgently. Do you want to duel with me? Come here, I just haven't killed enough. Chinyu smiled playfully. Duel. Chinyu, just go ahead and let us take a gamble. But your odds are very low. Looking at the noisy situation, Moonlight Hayate's face turned red. Thinking of the 7 root ninjas who were instantly killed, he was completely discouraged. I'm going to hand over the task now. Moonlight Swift Wind turned around and left neatly. It once again caused everyone to burst into laughter. Chinyu, have you really learned the Thunder Chakra mode? Quan Fong suddenly spoke. Chapter 16, After being sold, I helped count the money. You are listening at novelfull.audio. There was an inexplicable silence in the huge ruins, and everyone stared at Chinyu. No. Chinyu said nonsense seriously. No. Quan Fong rolled his eyes and said, You kid really hides it well. Let me tell you secretly, that guy Maluwe made a bet with us. If you learn the Thunder Chakra mode, he will let Xian go on a blind date with you. You are all 14 or 15 years old. It's time to start a family and start a business. Chinyu almost spit out a mouthful of old blood. According to Quan Fong, he was sold just now and helped count the money. In the cave, Yu Xian handed the flying thunder god kunai to Yu Kangwu. Father, according to the 3rd generation's description, bring the flying thunder god kunai back. As long as you activate the kunai's technique, Father, Minato-senpai will be able to feel the coordinates and perform space jumps. Yuzuki Xian said urgently. The Kumo ninja army is approaching. According to the intelligence, I am afraid that the AB team will personally lead the team. Facing this kind of enemy, only Minato-senpai can fight against it. As he spoke, Yuzuki Shien opened the scroll that activated the flying thunder god kunai. Shien, there's no need. Maoyue Kangwu stopped him with his hand, and said with a wry smile, you are already too late. Dad, what are you talking about? Didn't we catch up? Maoyue Shien said anxiously. This time there are hundreds of people in the Kumo ninja army. AI in the AB group is also the next successor designated by the third Hokage. Once they attack, there is no way to stop them here. Time is running out now, let's activate it quickly. Shien, it's really not necessary. Maoyue Kangwu patted the back of Shiyan's hand and said, Chinyu has already repelled them. No, it should be said that he was killed. Having said this, even though it was Maoyue Kangwu, a trace of awe could not help but appear on his face. Yuyu Shiyan's expression froze and she said urgently, Dad, what happened? You just said that the person who killed Yunren was that Chinyu. His alone. Yes, this is his own contribution. Maoyue Kangwu's voice was trembling a little when he mentioned that battle. If you saw it with your own eyes, you would be like me. Faced with the Cloud Ninja army alone, with the help of Sky Thunder, used the S-Class Thunder Escape Unicorn, and killed hundreds of Cloud Ninjas in one blow. Use a powerful pupil technique to summon a Blood Shura, inextinguishable black flames, and a powerful illusion that instantly suppresses the eight-tailed Jinchuriki. Maoyue was stunned. This was the first time she saw her father, as if he were a child. Such respect for a young man. However, following Yuyu Kangwu's description, Yuyu Shien could not help but have a vague picture of that battle emerge in her mind. Dad, according to what you said, Chinyu is hiding so deeply, could he be a genius hidden secretly by the Uchiha clan? Yuzuki Shien said in a deep voice, with this kind of strength, I'm afraid he can compete for the position of Hokage. By the way, when AI left, he also said that the next decisive battle will be fought as a shadow. Maoyue Kangwu said excitedly, he also called Chinyu the Bloody Azura. Maoyue Xian's face also changed. Of course she had heard of the Cloud Ninja AB group. Among them, AI is the successor of the next Hokage. Now Chinyu has received such high praise and is recognized by the next generation of Hokage, it would be false to say that he is not qualified to be Hokage. By the way, Shien, I have something to discuss with you. Maoyue Kangwu rubbed his hands and said with an embarrassed look on his face. Maoyue Shien frowned and said, Dad, you were so excited just now. You won't do anything to be sorry for me. Ahem, Shien, don't say that. Dad just thinks Chinyu is good and plans to introduce him to you on a blind date. Maoyue Kangwu coughed dryly. Dad, you actually betrayed me. Maoyue Shien looked livid. She never expected that when she met Maoyue Kangwu, he would make such a decision for her on the battlefield. This horse was sold, and they helped count the money. Shien, don't be so excited. You have also seen that boy Hei-8, when life and death were at stake, he actually gave up on you and ran away alone. But Chinyu was different. When Yunren attacked, and he is fighting against it alone. As long as he is not blind, he can tell which one is strong and which one is weak. Maoyue Kangwu's face showed anger. When she thought about it, if the person Maoyue Shien met this time was not Chinyu, then death would be waiting for her. Get out of the way, I want to see Shien. The voice of the moonlight and the wind came from outside the cave. Shien, I'll go out and send him away, so don't tangle with him anymore. Maoyue Kangwu's face darkened and he stood up. Dad, let me go, this is my business. Yuyu Shien stopped him with her hand and walked straight out of the cave, facing the noise of the moonlight blast. The people around were obviously attracted. Get out of the way, I want to see Shien, I have something to say to her. Yueguang Jifeng shouted urgently. Unfortunately, no matter how he called, the two Konoha ninjas guarding outside the cave remained indifferent. Moonlight Hei-8, please stop fooling around here. Inufeng advised in a deep voice, this is an important place. As a chunin, you cannot enter casually without communication. Quickly step aside, don't it's getting in the way of other people. Uncle Quan Feng, who am I in the way? I just want to explain clearly to Shi Yen that I was just eager to save people and planned to come back to bring in reinforcements. Yueguang Bailing hurriedly turned around and looked behind him. What caught his eye was an unexpected figure. You're blocking me. Qin Yu stretched and said, it's getting dark. I want to go back and have a good rest. Remember to tell me when you have dinner. Qin Yu, don't worry, we won't miss you. The two Konoha ninjas who were originally indifferent quickly put on smiles on their faces. Looking at this scene, Moonlight Hayate couldn't help but be confused. Uncle Inubang, didn't you say that this cave is an important place and Chunin can't just enter it? Why can he? Moonlight Hayate said urgently. As soon as these words came out, the Konoha ninja present instantly became unhappy. Inufone was no exception. He looked at each other coldly and said, Moonlight Hayate, sometimes enough is enough. If Qin Yu can be considered a Chunin, then there may be no Hokage in this world. Yes, for a person like you who is greedy for life and afraid of death, if it weren't for the fact that you are also a Konoha ninja, and the moonlight and darkness are still one of the 8 colors of Konoha, we would never let people like you come in. Moonlight Hayate, if I were you, I'd better stay aside and don't continue to embarrass yourself here. Moonlight Gale was stunned, for a long time, because of the backing of the Moonlight and Dark Knight, and the limitations of blood inheritance. He has always been regarded as a genius. Chapter 17 Who is Faster? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Are you deliberately isolating me? Xian and I are childhood sweethearts. She will definitely listen to my explanation. A trace of madness flashed across Yueguang Qifeng's face and he said urgently, let me in, Xian will definitely forgive me. Moonlight Gale, you've had enough. Mao Yuxian's voice came out from inside the cave. Soon I saw 2 figures coming out of it. This time, it has nothing to do with me. Qin Yu shrugged helplessly and said, he is the one who shouted and wanted to explain to you. You can solve it yourself. Looking at Qin Yu who was the instigator, he turned around and left coolly. Mao Yuxian was startled at first and her eyebrows furrowed. Qin Yu, can you stay for a while? Shall I stay? Qin Yu glanced at Maoyue Kangwu suspiciously. I instantly smelled what was going on. Xian, why are you leaving him? Go to the grass over there and I will explain to you alone. Yueguang Gale hurriedly reached out to catch Yu Xian, however, before they could touch him, he was avoided by Yu Xian. Moonlight Gale, please don't do anything in front of my partner, otherwise I will sever the relationship with you as ordinary friends. Yu Xian suddenly spoke. As soon as these words came out, everyone present could not help but look at Qin Yu. Qin Yu was helpless for a moment. He finally understood what it meant to be shot while lying down. Xian, what are you talking about? Who is your target? Yu Guangfen was anxious. It's Uchiha Qin Yu. My father has promised me to date Qin Yu, so please don't harass us in the future. Yuzuki Xian said coldly. Him. Yueguang Gale couldn't help but be startled and said, it's impossible, I don't believe you. You said that just to make me angry. You and Uchiha Qin Yu don't know each other at all. Among the younger generation, it has been instilled in many minds that the Uchiha clan is the source of rebellion. In order to avoid suspicion, many people will actively avoid members of the Uchiha clan. Moonlight Gale, you've had enough. A hint of disgust appeared on Yu Xian's face. In her eyes, the former Moonlight Gale was a genius who was sensible, talented, and responsible. I never expected that I would encounter such a thing when I left the village for the first time. No, I don't care. Give me a chance to explain. Yueguang Gale begged urgently. Lick the dog. Qin Yu rolled his eyes helplessly and said, if she finishes explaining, you will stop making trouble. Yes, as long as Xian finishes explaining, I will leave obediently. Moonlight Gale said with a stubborn look on his face. Okay, you watch. Qin Yu put his arm around Mao Yuxian's waist, and with a sudden force of his right hand, he pulled her into his arms. Without any hesitation, he kissed her directly under the stunned eyes of everyone. It was a shallow kiss, however. Yu Xian's mind still went blank with a roar. You, what are you doing? Moonlight Gale suddenly woke up. this was the first kiss that he had been eyeing for 7 or 8 years but could not get, now it was stolen by Chinyu in the blink of an eye. How could he accept this? Isn't this an explanation? Chinyu spread his hands and said, "You have to give up now. If nothing happens, I'll go back and rest first." Seeing Chinyu's back turning away with a nonchalant look on his face after the forced kiss, Yu Guangfeng's expression instantly became distorted. Without any hesitation, he took out a kunai from his waist and stabbed Chinyu in the back. The close distance caused everyone's expressions to change drastically. They never thought that Moonlight Gale would be so crazy. However, facing all this, Chinyu seemed to be unknown. Phew. The kunai pierced Chinyu's body instantly, and a white mist immediately rose up, making the crazy moonlight blast stunned for a moment. "Idiot, I'm behind you." Chinyu's right hand turned into a knife and slashed directly towards Yuguan Gale's neck. Moonlight Swift's expression changed dramatically, but in this case, he had no time to dodge. All we can do is wait for the attack to fall. Whoosh. A golden flash suddenly appeared. Before anyone could react, an unexpected figure appeared in front of Chinyu. He placed his hand on Chinyu's wrist. The sudden figure made everyone's pupils shrink suddenly. That golden hair made Chinyu couldn't help but smile. "Minato, after hiding for so long, I thought you didn't want to come out." It's the golden shining Minato Namikaze, and he arrived. Only the spacetime ninjutsu can cross 2 major battlefields and get here in such a short time. TCH, why don't you say that only Namikaze Minato's speed can stop Chinyu's attack, otherwise that kid Moonlight Hayate will definitely suffer. Humph, this brat won't be able to swallow his anger unless he suffers a little, but let's forget it now. Faced with Moonlight Gale's behavior of abandoning his companions on the battlefield, many people were dissatisfied. Especially his willful behavior just now has attracted the hostility of many people. This is a battlefield, not a place where emotions are mixed with personal feelings between children. I actually don't want to show up. After I found out that the Kumo ninja's attack was repelled by you, I thought about returning to Earth Country. Unfortunately, if I hadn't taken action just now, this kid would have suffered a lot. Namikaze Minato said with a bitter smile. Lord Minato, it was him. It was he who teased me in the forest just now that made Shiyen misunderstand me. You must make the decision for me. Moonlight Hayate said urgently. Chinyu smiled and shook his head and said, Minato, you have also seen it. To calm him down, you have to suffer a little. Besides, you can't stop whoever I want to teach. Boom! A burst of white mist appeared on Chinyu's body, and the next moment the whole person disappeared out of thin air. Is it the shadow clone technique? Namikaze Minato's expression changed. There was no time to think too much, so he quickly turned around and looked. At the same time, he flicked his right hand backhand, and the kunai with the flying thunder god seal was instantly released from his hand. Chinyu, who had just appeared behind the moonlight blast, had a smile on his face, and his body swayed half an inch like a ghost. The flying thunder god kunai barely missed him, and his attack failed. It's about to appear. Someone exclaimed. Everyone's nerves suddenly became tense, and there was a hint of urgency in their eyes. The art of flying thunder god. Minato Namikaze didn't see any movement, and he disappeared out of thin air the next moment. When he reappeared, he was already in the sky above the flying thunder god kunai. He directly reached out and grabbed Chinyu's shoulder. I caught you. A smile appeared on Namikaze Minato's face. It's been a long time since he met anyone who dared to challenge his speed. Chinyu's actions now undoubtedly made him have a competitive mentality. Really? Chinyu said with a smile on his face. However, you are too naive. A small voice suddenly spread. The next moment, crackling thunder arcs bloomed on Chinyu's body. Under the violent lightning, Chinyu, who was about to be caught, disappeared out of thin air, appeared again, already behind the moonlight blast. The hand knife transformed into his right hand was as fast as thunder, and it struck directly at the back of his neck. Chapter 18. We can only be friends, not enemies. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Boom! A dull collision sound suddenly sounded. The hand knife struck directly on Moonlight Gale's neck. Under the huge force, he rolled his eyes, passed out, and fell to the ground. The violent scene left everyone present stunned. Looking at the thunder light dissipating from Chinyu's body, his face was full of disbelief. if they were to speculate on whether Qin Yu had mastered the Thunder Chakra mode a moment ago, they were speculating based on Yu Guangfeng's one-sided words. However, now seeing it with my own eyes, the meaning is different. It had only been half a day since he defeated the Cloud Ninja. Qin Yu then learned the Thunder Escape Chakra mode, which is known as one of the most difficult secret techniques in Yunren village. What words can be used to describe this speed? Fear. Evildoer. Indescribable. More importantly, there is no contrast and no harm. Facing Minato Namikaze, who is known as the Golden Flash, Qin Yu was able to teach Moonlight Hayate a lesson. It means that in terms of speed, it is probably even better. I'm sorry Minato. No one can stop the person I want to teach, not even myself. Qin Yu laughed dryly. If it were the former Uchiha Qin Yu, facing the legendary pride of Konoha, he would definitely be like a pug, groveling, but now that he has a one-click max level system, he wants to give in, then just take a shower and go to bed. Qin Yu's words are serious. If you can be merciful, it is the best lesson for Moonlight Hayate. Namikaze Minato is a new generation of peaceful ninja. Moreover, he and Uchiha Fugaku have a very good personal relationship, and they are still regarded as brothers in private. He has always been very concerned about the problems of the Uchiha clan, and Uchiha Fugaku. Both have a peaceful solution mentality. Otherwise, Uchiha Fugaku, who had already awakened the Mangekyo Sharingan, would not have cared about the relationship with Namikaze Minato. He firmly believes in Namikaze Minato's philosophy, and I am afraid that he has already turned against Konoha. Unfortunately, counting on fingers, the third ninja war is now coming to an end. A year later, Namikaze Minato was dead, and a series of things happened under the control of Danzo and other high-level officials. Of course, Qin Yu didn't pay attention to all this at all. With the addition of the system, the world is so vast that there is no place to hide, if you really push him hard. Throw 2 or 3 big moves at random, pat your butt and run away, no one can stop him. Okay, if nothing happens, I'll go back and take a rest first. Kalon is really hard. Qin Yu patted Namikaze Minato on the shoulder. Under the stunned eyes of everyone, he walked into the cave. In their eyes, Namikaze Minato was an unattainable existence, known as the most qualified person in Konoha to inherit the identity of the next Hokage. He is treated with respect on weekdays. Even the older generation is no exception. When have you ever seen someone as big-hearted and devoid of awe as Qin Yu? After watching Qin Yu leave, Yu Kangwu stepped forward with a wry smile and said, Lord Minato, don't blame Qin Yu. The ability to defeat Yun Nin and the AB combination this time is all due to him. Besides, he is only in his early 15th or 16th year and doesn't know much about etiquette. Compared with Namikaze Minato, who was in his early 20s, Qin Yu could definitely be called a junior. Moreover, compared with Namikaze Minato's long-term prominent status, Qin Yu does lack etiquette. Senior Kangwu, you called me sir again. Namikaze Minato shook his head helplessly and said, being with you, I like Qin Yu instead. However, according to my understanding, Qin Yu is originally a junior who is not very outstanding among the Uchiha clan. When we came out, Fugaku asked me to help him take care of Qin Yu. It seems that he kept it secret. Regarding these words, everyone in the venue looked sad. The soles of my feet were still feeling cold at the thought of the Kirin falling from the sky and the Mangekyo Sharingan. Lord Minato, your status is different now. You are qualified for us old immortals to call you this. Yuzuki Kangwu said with a smile. However, we have something to report. I'm afraid Qin Yu deliberately didn't want to get involved in the dispute between Konoha and the Uchiha clan, so he hid it intentionally. As Atsuki Sogo narrated, Namikaze Minato, who originally had a warm smile on his face, became serious. Senior Kangwu, do you think Qin Yu possesses a powerful thunder escape ninjutsu, a special Sharingan eye, and a heaven-defying talent for learning ninjutsu? Namikaze Minato couldn't help but ask. Seeing everyone in the field nodding in unison, Namikaze Minato became even more frustrated. Senior Kangwu, I'll leave Moonlight Gale to you first. I'll go check on Qin Yu. Lord Minato, don't worry, but in Kumo Ninja Village, AI, the next successor to the Raikage, one said that Qin Yu has the qualifications to become the next Hokage. I hope you don't mind. Yuzuki Kangwu hesitated for a moment and said. This time, Danzo's confidants Shanfeng and Aburame took root. Not only did they escape, but they also leaked information about our stronghold to Yunren. If Danzo knew that Chinyu ruined his men's affairs, he would probably regarding Chinyu, we hope that Lord Minato can help him at the critical moment. In the eyes of Maue Kangwu and others, external enemies can still be eliminated with powerful means, but in the face of internal fighting, it can be said that it is easy to hide from open guns, but difficult to guard against hidden arrows. Senior Kangwu, don't worry, I know how to do it. Namikaze Minato nodded and said, wait a moment, I will report what happened here to the third Hokage first. With the third Hokage coming forward, Danzo will restrain himself a little. Atsuki Sangwu breathed a sigh of relief. This matter will be arranged this way for the time being. The next defense will depend on everyone's concerted efforts. Minato Namikaze patted Yuzuki Kangwu on the shoulder and said, I'll go talk to Chinyu first. After watching Minato Namikaze leave, Yuzuki Shien finally lost her composure and said, Dad, are you saying that once Chinyu returns to Konoha, I'm afraid he will be attacked by the roots? What's wrong? You care about your little lover so quickly? Inu Fong teased. Woyuki Shien glared and said, who is his lover? I just don't want Konoha Ninja Village to lose such a strong man. If this kind of person is a companion, he is an absolutely powerful backing, but if he is an enemy, he is too terrifying. Maue Kangwu suddenly said. As soon as these words came out, everyone's expressions couldn't help but change, just as Maue Kangwu said, facing an existence like Chinyu, the only thing we can do is to be friends and not enemies. Even if we can't become friends, we can only be passers-by. Chapter 19 Plotting against Namikaze Minato. You are listening at novelfull.audio. In the cave, Chinyu sat cross-legged and restored the chakra in his body. At the same time, he was thinking about how to solve the problem of lack of blue in a short time. After these two battles, his chakra was depleted. If not for the strength of his eyes, I'm afraid I won't be able to be strong-willed when facing the enemy. After much thinking, Chinyu finally came up with two methods: make a contract with Miaomu Mountain, and then learn the Sage Mode. By absorbing the power of nature, you can quickly return to mana. Second, find the head and tail beast to be the Jinchuriki yourself. This is the quickest way Chinyu can think of at the moment. However, Mt. Miyaboku's psychic contract was always worn by Jiraiya. Since Orochimaru rebelled and escaped from Konoha, Jiraiya has also become a daddy and has been following Orochimaru. It might be difficult to find Jiraiya in a short period of time. As for finding a tailed beast to be a Jinchuriki. Looking around the entire ninja world, except for the 3 tails, the other 8 tailed beasts are all inhabited by Jinchuriki. During the current war, every ninja village was very cautious about protecting the Jinchuriki. For a moment, trying to use this method to solve the problem of lack of blue seemed even more unrealistic than the first one. Thinking of this, Chinyu sighed helplessly. It's so hard for me. Chinyu, if you have any problems, you can talk to me if you don't mind. Namikaze Minato's voice came suddenly. Seeing Minato Namikaze approaching, Chinyu's eyes couldn't help but light up. Namikaze Minato's ninjutsu can be said to be that of the Gosen family. The Flying Thunder God in the starting hand, the ultimate move Rasengan, can't defeat the zombie. In addition to these 3 ninjutsu, in Chinyu's impression, Namikaze Minato did not perform many other ninjutsu. However, among these 3 ninjutsu, Chinyu valued the Flying Thunder God technique more. The Thunder Chakra mode can greatly increase Chinyu's speed, but when it comes to escaping to kill enemies and being unexpected, there is probably no ninjutsu that can compare to the Flying Thunder God's technique. Chinyu, are you worried that Danzo will be detrimental to you? Namikaze Minato said tentatively. Chinyu raised his eyebrows. He didn't expect Minato Namikaze to automatically make up his mind. Originally, he was planning on how to trick Namikaze Minato into teaching him the Flying Thunder God technique. Now he saved a lot of time to explain, and said one by one, this is just a small matter. If Danzo really wants to take action against me, the worst I can do is not go back. The world is so big, there will always be a hiding place for me. Namikaze Minato's expression froze. This is what worries him the most. According to the descriptions of Yu Kangwu and others, Chinyu's strength is enough to reach the level of Jounin. it is possible to override this, if paired with amazing ninjutsu talent. Once Chinyu leaves Konoha Ninja Village, it will be a huge loss and there will be hidden dangers. Chinyu, don't take things too seriously. I have a good relationship with Fugaku and I will never let Danzo target you unscrupulously. Namikaze Minato quickly persuaded, and I will take care of this matter in advance. Report it to the third Hokage, and with his wisdom, he will definitely handle this matter fairly. You just need to feel free to follow me back to Konoha. Chinyu also knew about Namikaze Minato in the original work, as the saying goes, good people are short-lived. Therefore, Chinyu did not doubt Namikaze Minato's intentions, but his purpose was to get the Flying Thunder God. If he were dismissed with just these few words, it would be completely rubbing his IQ into the ground. I also want to go back, but unfortunately I don't have many means of self-protection. If you are willing to teach me the art of Flying Thunder God, I might consider it. Chinyu said with a smile. Namikaze Minato couldn't help but be startled, and then said with a wry smile, it turns out that this was your intention from the beginning. It seems that you don't take Danzo seriously at all, but this Flying Thunder God technique is a forbidden technique developed by the second Hokage. Even if I want to teach it to you, I need the consent of the third Hokage. Nam Fong Shui Men said helplessly. If you really want to learn, I can teach you the ninjutsu I developed. Are you talking about the Rasengan? Chinyu rolled his eyes helplessly. With a person like Minato Namikaze, it would be harder for him to teach Flying Thunder God in private than to kill him. It seems that we can only think of other ways. Do you also know about the Rasengan? Namikaze Minato said with a smile on his face, this Rasengan does not require seals, and the amount of chakra required is average. Moreover, I have also developed a systematic learning method. I will demonstrate it now. Show you. Rasengan. Namikaze Minato said, the fingers of his right hand tensed slightly, surrounded by chakra. Blue air waves were generated quickly, forming a blue chakra ball in the blink of an eye. It looks like a blue starry sky. Of course, if you judge a book by its appearance, you will underestimate this Rasengan. I'm afraid it will often become the finale. In the original work, there is a funny joke. There is no enemy that the Rasengan cannot deal with, if there is an opponent that cannot be dealt with by 1. Use 2. If you still can't solve the problem, you can try different ways to make the balls, and you can always get the finale. Did you see clearly? Minato Namikaze dispersed the Rasengan in his hand and asked, I will demonstrate for the second time now. With your qualifications, as long as you practice well and control the movement of chakra well, you should. I learned it in a week. Looking at Namikaze Minato who was full of enthusiasm, Chinyu couldn't refuse. Moreover, Naruto's wind release Rasengan in the original work is indeed awesome. Compared with the use of Thunder Dun Chilin, it is also less cumbersome. Feeling the chakra in Namikaze Minato's body start to move again, Chinyu's Mangekyo Sharingan started to move. In Naruto, the Sharingan is a native plug-in, so it's useless if you don't use it. Minato Namikaze, who was always paying attention to Chinyu, felt at this moment that his whole person was being seen through. The moment he raised his head, his eyes met and his pupils could not help but shrink. The chakra condensed in his hand also collapsed. Are you the Mangekyo Sharingan? Namikaze Minato couldn't help but ask. Chinyu was not surprised by Minato Namikaze's statement. The Mangekyo Sharingan is not the first time it has appeared in the history of Konoha. At least all information about Uchiha Madara will be completely recorded by the second Hokage, and Namikaze Minato is the most promising being to become the fourth Hokage. In order to solve the problems of the Uchiha clan, he was particularly concerned. Knowing the existence of the Mangekyo Sharingan is not a surprise. Isn't it strange that an unknown junior would possess the Mangekyo Sharingan? Chinyu had no intention of hiding it. In the face of absolute strength, all conspiracies and machinations are useless. Namikaze Minato took a deep breath and nodded. I finally know why they say you have the talent to learn ninjutsu. Chapter 20 The Mist Ninja Attacks. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The Sharingan of the Uchiha clan has the ability to copy ninjutsu, although not everyone can do it. Namikaze Minato looked at it for a second and then looked away. However, in Konoha's secret information, there is a description of the Uchiha clan's Mangekyo Sharingan. Once awakened, they will obtain a special pupil technique. If I guessed correctly, the huge Shura ghost, black flames, and powerful all the ninjutsu are caused by these eyes. Chinyu had already expected Namikaze Minato's speculation, from the very beginning, when he decided to fight off the Kyumo ninja and AB combination, using Susanoo, Amaterasu, and Tsukuyomi. He knew that this matter could not be hidden for long. He nodded and said, "You are right, he is indeed the hot choice for the next generation of Hokage." Hearing this, Namikaze Minato smiled bitterly and said, "There are many outstanding people in Konoha, including Fugaku, Shisui, the Sannin where the teacher is, and you. I am just active on the front line and have no political background, which makes it easier for people to accept me. If we really want to compete for strength, Teacher Jiraiya, Fugaku, Shisui, and others are more suitable." Looking at the humble Minato Namikaze, Chinyu couldn't help but roll his eyes and said, "Show it when you should show it, otherwise why would you become so powerful? Hide it so no one can see it. That would be pointless. People are selfish. When you become a hero, you have to keep secrets. But I can't do it." Namikaze Minato smiled bitterly and said, "I didn't expect Chinyu, your views on things are really enlightening. Although I can't teach you the Flying Thunder God technique, but when I return to Konoha, I will ask the third Hokage for instructions. He should agree. Now let me demonstrate the second Rasengan first." As he spoke, Namikaze Minato once again concentrated the chakra in his body. However, before the Rasengan was formed, there were rapid footsteps outside the door. "Lord Minato, something serious has happened. A secret whistle has reported that there are mist ninjas 3 kilometers away. There are quite a few of them. The leading ninja is not yet known." Yuzuki Kangwu hurriedly broke in. Seeing the Rasengan scattered in Namikaze Minato's hand, he realized that the timing seemed a little wrong, and a trace of apology appeared on his face. "Chinyu, I'm sorry. I will demonstrate the Rasengan thing when I come back. You have consumed a lot of chakra in the battle just now. Now rest in the stronghold. Let me kill those mist ninjas." Namikaze Minato dropped this after saying that. He rushed out in a hurry. After Maui Kangwu cast an apologetic look at Chinyu, he quickly followed him. After the two left, the huge cave returned to calm again. "I didn't expect that even the mist ninja would send people to attack in a roundabout way. It seems that they all want to beat up the drowned dog." Chinyu smiled playfully. "Originally, I planned to find a tailed beast to use as a chakra cache machine. If I could catch a small leader, I might be able to find out the whereabouts of the 3 tails. However, let's give it a try now and learn the Rasengan. Maybe there will be unexpected surprises." While Chinyu was thinking, he recalled in his mind the scene where Namikaze Minato used the Rasengan for the second time under the copy of the Mangekyo Sharingan. The little chakra left in the body roared and flowed, quickly gathering in his right hand. Originally, the Rasengan was so difficult that even a low-level player like Naruto could learn it with systematic practice. Now Chinyu has used the Mangekyo Sharingan to thoroughly analyze the operating structure of the Rasengan, so that when it is operated, it will be more effective with half the effort. Rasengan. The 5 fingers of Chinyu's right hand tensed slightly, and the blue chakra released quickly gathered in the palm of his hand. The next moment, with the sound of high-frequency chakra flowing, the Rasengan condensed instantly. Ding Dong discovered the A-level ninjutsu Rasengan. Can the host reach the level with one click? Listening to the sound of the system, Chinyu couldn't help but raise his eyebrows. This Rasengan could have been transformed into an extreme form by Namikaze Minato. If you can continue to reach full level, what will happen next? Maximum level immediately. Chinyu did not hesitate and immediately issued the order. Ding dang, congratulations to the host for obtaining the big Jade Rasengan. Ding dong, detected the host's Thunder Attribute Chakra and obtained the Thunder Release Rasengan. 2 voices sounded in succession, making Chinyu confused. Originally, I just planned to imitate the original work, learn how to roll the meatballs, and then use the Wind Release Shuriken. Unexpectedly, by relying on the system to reach the full level with one click, I also got the Daima Rasengan and the Thunder Release Rasengan. As for why no other attributes appear, I'm afraid the system couldn't detect changes in other attributes of the chakra in his body. It seems that I will get a fairy body in the future and rub all the balls with changing properties. Chinyu put away his thoughts. In the outside world, everyone's nerves were tense when faced with the sudden appearance of the mist ninja. As soon as Namikaze Minato left the cave, he issued a few strict orders and then led a small team of people to the place where the target appeared, that is the place closest to Konoha and Water Country. It is a pity that Namikaze Minato was sent to the battlefield between the Kingdom of Wind and the Kingdom of Earth early in the morning and did not leave the Flying Thunder God technique in the vicinity of the Kingdom of Water. Otherwise, he could reach the destination as soon as possible with a single space jump. After Namikaze Minato and his team left, the strength of the guards at the stronghold, which originally had only 26 people, was suddenly reduced to 12. This is because Maui Shien and Moonlight Blast have already been taken into account. Dad, do I need to do something? Yu Shien couldn't help but said, the number of enemies is unknown now, and I'm worried that they will attack the stronghold in a roundabout way. As soon as these words came out, the atmosphere in the venue became a bit solemn. The nerves of those who stayed here were suddenly tense. However, as soon as this worry came to his mind, Maui Kangwu looked back at the cave where Chinyu was, and secretly breathed a sigh of relief. He patted Maui Shien on the shoulder and said, silly girl, don't worry. The manpower at the stronghold is insufficient, and Lord Minato is not here, but don't forget that Chinyu is there. Having said this, Maui Kangwu looked at the awakened Moonlight Gale, and warned in a deep voice, Gate, I hope that when you meet Chinyu next time, you will never mess around again. He is not a being that you can compare with. Moonlight Gale's face darkened, he clenched his fists angrily, raised his head stubbornly and said, Uncle Yuyu, don't worry, my intelligence escort mission has been completed. As long as Chinyu is here, it won't be of much use if I stay here. I will leave the stronghold now and go back to Konoha to resume my life. After leaving these words, Moonlight Gale walked outside the stronghold. However, just after taking 3 or 4 steps, a huge black shadow fell from the sky. There was no hint of fancy, it just hit him directly, boom. Moonlight Gale was directly pressed to the ground. Feeling the warmth and the smell of blood on his face, he struggled a little and looked up. The sight he saw made him look pale.